Thank goodness for the internet. Seriously. You know why? Because these Democrats have to eat their own words. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. Okay? We're taking a little trip down memory lane a little bit. And I know I've shown you guys a couple of these clips, but we're going to get into those later. But these first clips I've never shown you guys. Okay? Now, some of these clips are from Maze Moore, which I've shown you guys Maze Moore clips before. This guy is able to like go back into the archives of history and just like pull out videos that I've never seen before, but they relate to what's going on today. And he's always doing that. So shout out to Maze Moore. But we got to dive into this a little bit because, of course, you guys know about the whole Nicolas Maduro situation and Trump, flying in, the crew flying in and taking Maduro out, arresting him and flying him back to New York and putting him on trial. Well, not long ago, the Democrats would have agreed with that happening, believe it or not. And I want to dive into some of that a little bit. So with that being said, let's dive in.
Even in Latin America, the same pattern. While U.S. public support for Venezuela's self-declared interim president Juan Guaido seems to have diminished, strongman Nicolas Maduro is still in power as Russia's support for him remains steadfast, sending a clear message to the world of America in retreat and Vladimir Putin filling the void.
And you know, it's remarkable because Vladimir Putin isn't even that popular here in Russia right now because of the bad economic situation and a botched pension reform. So these foreign policy gifts that he keeps getting from President Trump not only make him stronger abroad, but also help keep him in power here in Russia as well, Brianna.
All right, Fred, thank you so much for that report. Okay, so, one of the arguments the president makes is that these places are thousands of miles away. The U.S. doesn't need to involve itself. And hey, if Russia is going to get involved, so be it.
Part of what President Putin's been doing is looking for spots in the world where there is a leadership vacuum and an opening to have influence.
Everyone who knows anything about foreign policy tells you that there's an impact when a global power like the United States is led by someone who actively says we need to pull back. We don't need to be defending these people. Where were they, in the Peloponnesian Wars, whatever.
But I think they underestimate the damage that Russia can do just by sowing chaos and by supporting authoritarians. We've seen this in Europe. So that it's not a China-type competitor, but the world can get a heck of a lot more dangerous if Russia helps authoritarianism, doesn't mind the spread of weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons.
Russia's free press.
Shows other authoritarians how to do this.
Why is he so susceptible to this kind of message coming from Putin?
He likes authoritarian thugs. He responds to them. They probably know how to manage him and flatter him. There is an element whenever any leader of state or even high-level diplomatic officials meeting with another country where they are flattering you and they're trying to kind of get you on good terms. Trump is very susceptible to that.
And I think Putin seems to have a special
maybe he has
clout with Trump.
No. Trump is cozying up with the dictators. He loves the dictators. And, Putin backing up Maduro, that ensures that Maduro is going to be there, even though he's unofficial. Oh, man. My goodness. But there's more. That last clip, as you probably saw at the top of your screen, was from 2019. This one is from 2023.
The Biden administration also recently rolling back sanctions in exchange for the promise of free and fair elections. Here was President Biden when he was asked about criticism of the deal.
It's okay because they've freed Americans, people who were held illegally, and we made a deal with Venezuela at the whole free election. So far, they've maintained their requirements, and that's it.
The Biden administration also recently...
Listen, I'm not even trying to make fun of the guy, but I didn't even understand what Joe Biden just said right there. Seriously. Like, that is shameful. To be mumbling your words that bad. Now, I'm sure if I listened back to it and I listened closely enough, I could probably decipher through it. But the fact that I even have to do that with a former president is crazy. Yeah, that's wild. And of course, Democrat politicians, they sat back quiet, didn't really say anything. Kind of interesting how that works, isn't it? I'm just saying. So, yeah. But, once again, as I always like to do with these types of videos, there's more. This one is from 2024. Check out this clip.
Just look at what's going on in Venezuela. Maduro, who is what Donald Trump wants to be. He wants to be the kind of guy that doesn't matter whether you win or lose, you get to stay in power. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. And Maduro is staying in power by blowing up the rule of law in Venezuela and co-opting the military for his political purposes. That's what Donald Trump is capable of, and that is not American. That is not American in any shape or form.
Oh, Trump wants to be like Maduro. He wants to stay in power illegitimately, like Maduro. He cozies up to people like Maduro. Okay. All right. This clip is from 2024 as well. Check this one out.
You know, we could come to them if we want to talk to Republicans and say, you know, Trump is not only praising far-right leaders like Putin and Orban, he's praising communist dictators like Xi Jinping for ruling with a, quote, iron fist, and most recently Maduro in Venezuela, who he comes out. And so it's not even about right or left. What Trump cares about is that, you know, people have deprived, these leaders have deprived their people of freedom, and they've maneuvered themselves into positions of absolute power. That's what he wants. So whether it's right or left no longer matters to him. It's all about autocracy.
Oh, interesting. So he's cozied up to dictators like Maduro. That comes from a so-called expert on fascism there on MSDNC, or excuse me, BS now, because they changed the name. So-called expert on fascism. That's what she had to say about Trump. And yet, what did Trump do? He pulled up. He said, hey, listen, you are coming with us. We've had enough. I warned you. You didn't want to listen. And now, not only are we at your front door, but we're in your house. You thought you were untouchable, huh? Because you're on this big military base with your soldiers outside with their big guns and everything. You got your anti-aircraft missiles all along your coastline. You thought you were untouchable, huh? Silly rabbit. I love it, man. I love it. Trump, man. No games. No games being played. AOC. It's not about drugs. If it was Trump, wouldn't have pardoned, or if it was, Trump wouldn't have pardoned one of the largest narco traffickers in the world last month. It's about oil and regime change. And they need a trial now to pretend that it isn't, especially to distract from the Epstein plus skyrocketing healthcare cost. Funny how they switch up, ain't it? Now your party likes Maduro. Go back to bartending. Yeah, I love that idea. AOC, go back to bartending. Trump talks tough on Venezuela, but admires thugs and dictators like Nicolas Maduro. As president, I will stand with the Venezuelan people and for democracy. That was posted by one of Joe Biden's staff members. Because we know it wasn't him. We know damn well that wasn't him. Not by a long shot, right? Not by a long shot. Now, I say all that to say this. These people stand for nothing. Because these are the same people that are crying and complaining that Trump did what he did to Nicolas Maduro. But not long ago, they were talking about how him and Nicolas Maduro were best buddies. He admired Nicolas Maduro. He wanted to be like Nicolas Maduro. He talks tough against Nicolas Maduro, but would never do anything. You know, all of these different things. And now that he did something, it's all of a sudden a problem. It's all of a sudden a major problem. Like old Chucky Chuck over here. recently had this to say. Excuse me. Even though not long ago, he was talking tough, right?
If it is more powers question is
today than it was when the president began.
Here we go.
So what can the Congress do about it is the next question.
Well, the next question is very simple, and that is that we have the War Powers Act. That's a privilege resolution, which means the Republicans can't block it. Tim Kaine and I and Rand Paul are sponsors of it. It's going to come to the floor this week. And if it is voted for, if it's voted positively in both houses, then the president can't do another thing in Venezuela without the okay of Congress. We have to pass it.
President Trump say that he intends for the United States to run Venezuela? It was reckless. It was dangerous. And looking at the president's demeanor, he didn't even seem to be aware of how dangerous and reckless it is.
But not long ago, he was best buddies with Maduro, though. Pick a side. Pick a side, you liberal. Never mind. Okay, I was about to say something crazy. Yeah, man, these folks, they have to be called out at every single turn. At every single turn. It has to be exposed that these Democrats, they're just bullshit artists. That's all they are. I don't know if you guys saw them standing outside singing songs on January 6th yesterday. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's nothing but a performance for them. It's a performance. And I'm happy to see that some people were calling it out. Democrats themselves. Democrat voters themselves were calling it out like, bro, this is weak. This is pathetic. Watching them outside singing songs. Ooh, commemorating January 6th, remembering January 6th. Like, come on, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. You know, I forgot who said it, but someone got asked. I'm trying to think of who it was. Someone got asked, can you tell me a worse day in history than January 6th? Or a more violent, or I think the question was a more violent day in history than January 6th. And the guy was like, yeah, any and every weekend in Chicago. I was like, yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. But you won't see these Democrats in Chicago, you know, singing songs and trying to stop the violence and remembering the people that have lost their lives in Chicago because it doesn't benefit them politically. It's a shame, man. It is a shame. And some people buy into the scam hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. But of course, you know, we can't be surprised that Democrats do this. This is what they've been doing for a long time now. They've been calling for Trump's arrest since the very beginning. The very, very beginning. And if you don't believe me, well, here's a compilation video from Grabian. Check it out.
Have recently voted to advance articles of impeachment.
Impeach him first and then indict him.
Yes, the president, a sitting president, can be indicted.
Even if the president were to somehow find some way to terminate Mueller, the indictments would continue to grind.
You could impeach anybody on anything. You can try and indict.
He is not functioning as the president of the United States. Frankly, if he ever gets indicted, he'll have insanity as a defense, I suppose, from a criminal charge. But it's hardly, you know, this is a serious matter.
You're starting to hear people talk about the possibility that Donald Trump leaves office in 2 years and then finds himself in the crosshairs of these New York prosecutors.
This sitting president can and should be indicted.
President, there for sure is more than likely going to serve some jail time.
It's clear that Trump is the target and he'll be indicted eventually.
On the day Donald Trump leaves office, the Justice Department may indict him.
Now there is talk of jail time for the president.
That Mueller could indict the president for obstruction of justice.
Donald Trump should be indicted for calling a cooperating witness a rat.
He should have been indicted.
The sitting president can be indicted by the Justice Department.
Why aren't we at the target, Trump, having committed crimes to get the presidency?
Okay, you get it. You get it. You get it. You get it. They've been going after this man since the very beginning. So I'm not shocked that when it benefits them, when it's convenient, They all of a sudden completely flip on what they were saying before. And now all of a sudden going after Maduro is such a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad thing. Even though, let me remind you all, the Kamala Harris and Biden administration are the ones who put the bounty on Maduro's head. Make it make sense. So a Democrat president and vice president are the ones that put the bounty on this man's head, right? Signaling they wanted him caught and brought to justice. But Trump actually went and did it. And now all of a sudden it's a bad thing. Where were all these Democrats when the bounty was put on his head in the first place? Exactly. I rest my case. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this, man. I just have to call Democrats out at every single turn, man, because I'm tired of them just lying, just, switching what they say on a whim. When they do it, I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out every single time. They will keep getting exposed until there is no Democrat voter left to vote for that party. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.